Thank you for visiting my channel. Today's message is going to be on money with a purpose. How to identify purpose for your money. Always like to start with my mission. My mission is to help people identify their responsibility and relationship when it comes to money, which is what we're going to talk about today. Also, break free of the rat race because we are in a rat race. I was driving down the highway um, the other day, and they had this young man standing on the side of the highway, and he looked like he was 60, 50, 60 years old, but I knew he was no more than 20, 25. And you can see that life and this world had just beat him up. And I sat there and I just wondered how many other people on this planet is feeling and going through the same thing. And so again, my mission is to get people out of this race that we call the rat race and create assets for positive cash flow. And so if you like the messages that I'm delivering, please like and subscribe if I'm adding value to you in your life. I always say, grab your journals because I want you to write down your thoughts, what you feel about what I'm saying. And if you don't have a journal, you can click the subscription below and you can order yourself a journal. And I also have a few of my favorite books that are down in that subscription. So let's get into the message. As I said, purpose for your money. Now, this is what we do. And this is us as a human race. And I say that because I did a survey, and it was a small survey, 100 people. It was actually 103 people. And I asked 10 questions. But one of the most surprising and shocking questions that I had, answers that I received, was that 85% of folks did not have at least $1,000 in case of emergency. 85%. And some of these folks were six-figure people. Let me say that again. Some of them were six-figure people. And so it is not always about the amount of money you make. And I want to clarify that because the amount of money you make does help. I'm not foolish, okay? But there was a story a few years ago about this UPS driver who maximum pay was $58,000 before he retired. $58,000 a year. And he left an endowment to an HBCU for over $1 million. I mean, he gave $1 million to a school. And the most he made was $58,000 a year while working for UPS. And so, yes, what you make is very important, and you should strive to make more. But that is not the reason you're in the situation that you're in right now. And so here is my solution to that. Starting today, make your money have purpose. And here are the purpose that I'm speaking of. I call it 10, 10, 20, 60. Say it again, 10, 10, 20, 60. And what this is, it equals 100. I know you guys figured that out. Equals 100. 100% of your pay. And so I'm going to start with the big number, 60. 60% of your pay should go to your household expenses. This is rent or mortgage. This is light and gas. This is water. This is anything to do with your household. Your car note, only 60%. If your expenses is more than 60% of your pay, you need to reevaluate your expenses. That's a tough one there. You need to reevaluate your expenses. And so I've talked to some car dealers, and I've been blessed where I pay for my cars outright. That's neither here or there. But there are folks that have $1,000 car payment per month. And the car dealers, they love you because of it, because they know. They look at what you make a year, you making 60, 70, $50,000 a year. They know you can't afford it. So they're gonna sell you that car and sell it 3 more times before it's done. And so you got to evaluate, and I'm passionate about this. You got to evaluate, is that the right car for you? Or can I just hold off 1 year? Hold off 1 year, and then I may be able to buy a car with cash. Maybe you can't get Starbucks every single day, $6, $7 every day. Maybe you can't. But you have to evaluate where you are. And so you got to write down your expenses and then identify where you can make adjustments. And again, I'm not saying to not enjoy life. That is not what I'm saying. But you have to have purpose. So 60%. The next is 20%. 20% should go into investments, long-term and short-term investments. Investments are not playing the lotto. Investments can be rental property once you get to a certain level. And we're going to talk through that in a second. Okay? But investments is mainly just in mutual funds. It doesn't cost you anything additional. You put your money in, you get 8, 9, 12% back. Easy. You can go on YouTube and understand investments very quickly. In the near future, I'm going to do a video on investments, my belief on investments, and how to invest when it comes to mutual funds. Okay, so 20% investment, long-term, 401k, a traditional IRA, that's long-term. You're not going to touch it. You can't touch it, or you're going to take a big penalty. You can't touch it. Okay, 10%. The other 10% is in short-term investments, mutual funds, things like that. Okay? Next is 10% in what I call a fund account. And these are 4 different bank accounts that you need to open. Bank accounts that don't charge you. They're free. Okay? So 4 different bank accounts. 60% goes into one account. 20% goes into another account. And then the investments just automatically pulls them out. You don't even have to think about it. 10% in the fund account. Okay? And so the fund account. Fund account is vacations. Okay? So if you're making $60,000 and you put 6,000 of it, or 4,000 after tax, into a fund account, I think you can have fun. I think you can have fun. Or if you get a big hit, nice bonus, or one of your assets pay off well, you could put some of that inside that account so you can have even more fun. But you gotta enjoy life. You gotta go out and travel, taste the world, go to different restaurants, see different cities or countries. You have to do that to broaden the way you think and how you feel about life. Okay? So the fund account. And then 10% in an emergency account. All right, so I'm going to stop right here on an emergency account. Emergency account is for emergencies. Getting a new wig is not an emergency. It's just not. Right? Buying new shoes or a new suit is not an emergency. You got to discipline yourself. 10%. But what I would love for you to do is before you do the 20% in investing, get a minimum of $1,000 into an emergency account. Because I promise you, things are going to happen. They always happen. And the question is, are you prepared for them to happen? Okay? And so get that emergency account started and then funnel the other stuff, the fund account and the investment account. And then the 10% goes into build up the emergency account. I like to see a minimum of 6 months of emergency money. Because what happens if there's another COVID? You guys remember COVID? It was rough for a lot of us. Very rough. But if you had 6 months of money, of bills set to the side, you would have felt much better about COVID. And so again, build it up to 6 months or further. And then you could take that 10% and add it to the fund account. Now you're at 20% fund. But again, you got to give every dollar a purpose. And that purpose for those dollars got to be clear and you got to be focused. And so let's get it going. Because I'm telling you, if you start doing this one thing, 10, 10, 20, 60, you will see an immediate improvement in your life. Immediate. How many of you guys and girls out there are not sleeping? Let me get deep. Are not sleeping because you're so worried about money. But if that's so, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing about it? But am I the problem, not the situation that's around me? As I always say, don't forget to fill out my financial challenge below because it's going to tell you where you stand. Also, every Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m., I have a new video that comes out. And the quote of the day, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. Family, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay blessed, and thank you so much.